Prime Minister Narendra Modi recently celebrated his 75th birthday. Among the gushingly fulsome birthday wishes to Modi, a video by actor Sudesh Berry took the veritable cake or the veritable birthday cake. In the video, a visibly emotional Berry not only likened Modi to an avatar of Lord Vishnu, but also appealed to all Indians to show their gratitude to Modi by donating rupees 1 into Modi's personal bank account. Berry's video was startling. It suggested that an elected prime minister needed to be monetarily compensated for his apparently supremely generous act of developing India. According to this video, Modi doesn't really have a duty to govern or to enact policy or to work towards implementation of administrative decisions as prime ministers of democracies are constitutionally bound to do. Oh no! Instead, each of Modi's actions are seen as extraordinary acts of munificence towards the public for which a grateful nation must pay him. A deadening sycophancy has taken hold of our country in the last 11 years of the Modi regime. A self-abasing, undignified chamchagiri is now the recourse of certain VIPs who have been reduced to fearfully quaking trumpeters of the suffocating Modi cult. The film director and former censor board chief Pahlaj Nihalani once proudly stated, "I am proud to be a Modi chamcha." This time, on Modi's birthday, film stars, sports personalities, industry leaders all poured out their extravagant wishes to the Prime Minister in what can only be described as an orgy of sycophancy. One sports personality got caught. He mistakenly copy pasted a tweet, obviously sent to him by one of Modi's PR agencies, which stated his name at the top, indicating that these were pre drafted tweets sent out by name to celebrities and influencers. The newspapers and TV channels were awash with Modi publicity banners, Modi advertisements, films on Modi's life, Modi's different headgear, Modi's costumes, Modi's photos showing a 56-inch chest flaunting strongman leader striding like a colossus or glaring fixedly into the middle distance or waving like a deity from a golden chariot. Modi's sayings, Modi's books were plastered all over the media. The newspapers were like Modi magazines, every page bursting with Modi's visage as BJP leaders, business houses, civil society institutions rushed to proclaim their devotion to Modi ji. Our society is prone to hero worship. The powerful attract reverence and awe. They are seen as the rising sun. The phrase "Ugta Suraj ko sab pranam karte hain" is commonly used. All salute the rising sun. But when cloying sycophancy and obsequious chamchagiri become the national default mode, society loses life-giving vigor. Writes the Congress leader, later Swatantra Party stalwart C. Rajagopalachari or Rajaji. If subservience and slavish adulation take the place of independent thinking and criticism is never resorted to, but with fear and trepidation, the atmosphere breeds political diseases, careerism, intrigue, and various types of degrees of dishonesty. Rajaji also writes, talent and energy must find scope for play without having to cringe and obtain special individual permission from officials and ministers. Their efforts must be judged by the open market in India and abroad. Statism must go, and the government must be reduced to its proper functions. It is indeed shocking that sports persons and artists who have proved their talent in their respective fields and are formidably well known still need to cringe and bow before the Prime Minister in the way that they did on Modi's 75th birthday. Now, in the past, political leaders have tended to use birthday celebrations as affirmations of the party's identity. Lalu Prasad Yadav was known for his secular birthday cakes. His 55th birthday cake was baked in the shape of a church, a mandir, and a masjid. Jayalalitha once had a parliament-shaped birthday cake. Mayawati was known for her giant-sized birthday cakes. These occasions are times when parties celebrate their tall leaders with gatherings, garlands, cultural events, public events, and the popularity of the leader is emphasized and projected and proclaimed. Sometimes giant hoardings of the leader are placed in public places to emphasize the leader's saliency among the public. Jawaharlal Nehru's birthday is celebrated as Children's Day. Indira Gandhi's birthday sees celebrations of her Iron Lady image. Parties often use the leader's birthday to project their mass appeal, the leader's mass appeal, and the person of the masses' public connectedness of the leader. On Modi's birthday in 2019, for example, the BJP Supremo was presented with a 569 kg laddu. This was Modi's birthday celebration in 2019. But, however, an important distinction must be drawn between a political party commemorating its leader's birthday or the day being marked by service to a cause, such as the welfare of children, and a birthday in which all of civil society and the entire state machinery are harnessed to the celebrations of the leader. To actively orchestrate and organize all of civil society, film stars, industrialists, sports persons, into becoming an on-cue chorus line of admiration for a prime minister shows a drive to impose an undemocratic, authoritarian, and imperial dominance. Modi is prime minister with a 36% of the vote. Remember that. He's got 36% of the vote, and that's why he's prime minister. Modi is not a hereditary king or a hereditary monarch. This year, industry leaders put out videos and statements about their flattering views on Modi. Modi personality was everywhere. Movie stars disseminated their personal stories about Modi with the hashtag #MyModiStory. Modi's birthday this year was not just a BJP celebration, as leaders' birthdays have tended to be in the past. As I said, the tentacles of sycophancy this time were sent far into civil society. It is the obsequiousness of civil society which is worrying this time. Modi's PR machine took the PM's birthday publicity to an unprecedented level. LK Advani once described Modi as an excellent event manager. And indeed, Modi's media machine and social media and mainstream media outreach is the largest, most well organized force of any prime minister so far. Modi's birthday blitz was mounted on a huge scale and cleverly covered the range of media outlets, from digital to mainstream media to the newspapers to magazines. Everywhere you looked, it was Modi 360. The mainstream media, print, and television all carried expensive advertisements. Important questions, however, must be asked here. When public sector undertakings took out ads for the Prime Minister's birthday, what amounts of public money was spent by the taxpayer? How much public money was spent? Today, every major state is in debt. The debt of 28 states has ballooned to over 59 lakh crores. Can the exchequers of states bear the burden of massive spends only to send out wishes on the Prime Minister's birthday? Clearly, all purse strings have to be open to bolster the cult of Modi, which in any case is promoted 24/7 across media all year round. Delhi recently witnessed a collapse of civic infrastructure and drainage during a very heavy monsoon. But on Modi's birthday, the Delhi government staged a mega show with drones at the Tyagaraja Stadium. The Delhi government would have been far better off spending the resources and money and state machinery on the woes of citizens instead. Shockingly, there is zero accountability on these massive extravaganza paid for with the taxpayers' money. When cultural and business figures are pressed into service to pay obeisance at Modi's cult, it is like converting society's leaders into Dickensian Uriah Heeps. Uriah Heep, a character from Charles Dickens's novel David Copperfield, is the quintessential sycophant, perpetually obsequious, manipulative, deceitful. He uses a false humility to advance himself and keeps up a pretense of cringing servility and submissiveness. It would be a tragedy indeed if, in the world's largest democracy, marked by a vibrant civil society, which has in the past turned out for causes and protests, the leading lights of this society, this proud democratic society, were forced by state power to become various versions of the appalling Uriah Heep. That is the nature of the sycophancy, the normalization of sycophancy that is being forced on India today. Even schools and puja pandals were not spared. A school, actually my former school, I must add, put out a circular asking students to make birthday cards for Modi. The Delhi chief minister even urged Durga Puja pandals to place photos of Modi at the feet of goddess Durga inside the pandal. This is an unheard of interference in a traditional and devotional celebration where the presence of the goddess is the focus of the ceremonies. Why should Modi's photograph be placed inside a puja pandal? This is utter sacrilege. Why should schools, Durga Puja pandals, actors, sports persons, and industry leaders find it necessary to make public statements on the birthday of a person who happens to be holding the office of the Prime Minister? And why isn't there a pushback to this breathtaking industrial scale Vyakti Puja or worship of an individual? Why is there no pushback to this? Granted, there have been personality cults before, Modi, but none at this level. Congress leader D.K. Barua once said, India is Indira, Indira is India. But Barua was pilloried in the media for this chamchagiri remark. His political career, in fact, nosediving, more or less ending in 1974 after this infamous statement. Indira Gandhi's personality cult may have dominated politics, but there was always robust interrogation of her and her government, both in media and in the parliament. The difference today is sycophancy has been normalized. There is the normalization of sycophancy. Sycophancy is considered acceptable and routine. There is widespread normalization of sycophancy. So much so that a refusal to bend and bow and scrape is seen as a sign of aggressive defiance and seen as threatening the mahal of pervasive servility with dangerous subversiveness. A former vice president of India has said Modi is a gift of God to India. None other than a Supreme Court judge has once said that Modi is a versatile genius. This is the level of obsequiousness even from VIPs. In interviews with Modi, even mainstream journalists ask very smarmy questions like, do you ever get tired? Or do you carry a purse? A famous actor once asked Modi, how do you eat mangoes? Do you like to eat mangoes? When GST reforms were recently announced, full page ads again appeared with the message, thank you, Modi ji. Again, an absurd echo of Sudesh Berry's, we are so grateful genuflection, as if tax reforms are somehow a gift from the divine God. The question arises, is all this fawning, worshipful publicity a sign of genuine admiration or crippling fear of the Inspector Raj or the dreaded enforcement agencies? Does all this obsequiousness, all this sycophancy, all this fawning, does it actually come from admiration or from fear? It is worth noting here that Nehru once himself wrote an anonymous critique of the adulation he received in his famous essay, We Want No Caesars. The draftsman of our constitution, B.R. Ambedkar, too warned that bhakti or hero worship in politics is a road to degradation. But Modi wholeheartedly participates in his own personality cult, building and in promoting sycophancy with his carefully choreographed solo photo ops and refusal to share photo frames with others. You see photo frames of the Prime Minister where there is nobody else. It is only a single shot of the Prime Minister walking like a colossus on a bridge or on a road. Nobody else is allowed to intrude into that photo frame. So the Prime Minister is participating in his own personality cult. Sycophancy and promoting this false subservience is actually a sign of lack of legitimacy. A crisis of legitimacy manifests itself in many ways. For example, when politicians claim to be gods or messenger of God, they actually reveal their own insecurity as they obviously feel compelled to use the power of religion to somehow establish their own leadership and their own credibility. The same legitimacy crisis is seen when sycophancy is encouraged. When birthday wishes are orchestrated, organized, and choreographed through media and PR agencies, it reveals that the so-called supreme leader requires birthday endorsements from high achievers and celebrities and VIPs to somehow rescue his own fast-fading legitimacy.